Good morning, everybody, and it's Mrs. Hill here with Wednesday's literacy lesson. So we're carrying on with our poetry. So here is our top sheet, as always. So we're going to be writing a poem about a storm, and the audience is full of the children in Key Stage 1. Here are some features you might find in poetry: alliteration, onomatopoeia, rhyme. We might be using an exclamation mark when we write, or a question mark, full stops, finger spaces, and capital letters. Okay, so moving on, here is the spelling slide. So I've mixed up a couple of the words from both Monday's and Tuesday's lessons and put them together for you. So this is just a good opportunity for you to practice writing these words. You could do just the pyramid writing, or you might want to build them into silly sentences. So I'm just going to read out the words that we've got. We've got find, kind, mind, children, and everybody. So pause the video here whilst you have a go at practicing your spellings. Okay, hope you enjoyed practicing your spellings. Now, today is quite an exciting day because we're going to innovate the poem that we had from Mr. Moon and create our own verse for our poem. So here's the original version of the poem that we're going to be working with. And we're going to read through it together. Then we're going to look out for the expanded noun phrases. And then we're also going to take a different colour to find the verbs. So I'm going to read first. And as I'm reading, see if you can notice any of the expanded noun phrases. And if you remember, an expanded noun phrase is an adjective and a noun. Okay, so let me start to read. The angry sea crashed against the golden sand. The swirling wind built huge blue waves. The terrified ships pitched on the rough waters. The storm was ferocious. Okay, let's find my highlighter. I'm going to start by finding the ENPs, and we're going to spot those with green. So here we go. We've got the angry sea, and then golden sand, swirling wind, and huge blue waves, terrified ships, and rough waters. Okay. Now, we can't have a sentence without putting a verb in there, because otherwise it just doesn't make sense. We're only writing a fragment. So we're going to have a go at finding the powerful verbs that we've got in these sentences. So I'm going to change the colour of my highlighter to purple. So in this sentence, the angry sea, this is what it's doing. It crashed against the golden sand. The swirling wind built, that's our verb. And the terrified ships pitched. Pitch means that they're going up and down on the rough waters. And then in the final sentence, our verb is was that we've got there. Okay, so we are going to have a go today at building our own verse. So we've got our expanded noun phrases that we generated for those storm pictures, which we did yesterday. Now, in order to put those into a sentence to build a line for the poem, we're going to need to also have some powerful verbs. So we've got bright lightning, REMPs, heavy, dark storm clouds, frothy waves, choppy sea, huge waves, and fierce waves. So here's a few powerful verbs which I've come up with. So let's read them as we go. We've got crashed, we've got pounded, and we've got raged, and then we've got howled. So crashed would be good to use for the waves banging against the rocks. So would pounding. Raged, you might be able to say that the wind raged around the sea. And howled is another good verb which you could use for the wind as well. So I'll just put that there so you've still got those to hand. Okay, moving on. So, don't know quite where to put me. I'll put me down here at the bottom so I'm not in your way. So, here's our EMP bank, the bright lightning, heavy dark storm clouds, frothy waves, choppy sea, huge waves, fierce waves. I've extended my powerful verbs a little bit more. So let me have a go at reading those through with you. So we've got crashed, pounded, raged, howled, flashed, rumbled, and roared. Now I'm going to have a go at trying to build this poem with you as I'm talking you through. So the first line that we're going to have is going to be about the sky. So I wanted to really think about that lightning flashing in the sky. So I'm going to have a go at starting to write. So I'm going to start with bright lightning. Now I need to remember my capital S because it's the start of a sentence. So I've got my EMP, bright and lightning. Now I need a verb, and it's got to be a powerful verb to show you what's happening. So I'm going to put in the word flashed. Oops. Flashed across the gloomy sky. Okay, and that's the end of a line, and when we write a poem, we're just going to put a comma for the end of the line. So let's reread what we've got. Bright lightning flashed across the gloomy sky. So I'm just going to highlight the ENPs to show you where they are. Bright and lightning, and then gloomy sky. And then here is my verb. We've got the word flashed to show us what we're doing. So yeah, not a bad start for the first line of our poem. Right, let's go and write the second line. Now the second line, it needs to be about the sea. So in that picture there, you can see that the waves look really quite frothy. So I'm going to write frothy waves. Now I need a verb for what they're doing. They're making that sea kind of bash against the rocks. So I'm going to choose that word pounded. Frothy waves, oops, I forgot the P. Pounded against the jagged rocks. Okay, so let's just go back and we'll find our EMPs and our verb. So we've got frothy, oh, wrong colour highlighter. Let's get rid of that and change it so that we've got the same, that we're using it the same way. So we've got frothy, sorry, give me a second, get the highlights back. We've got frothy, oh dear, it's not playing. Let's rub that bit out. Let's make sure we're right. So we've got frothy waves and then jagged rocks. And then let's find the purple pen to show you the verb. And here we've got pounded. Okay, now let's move on to the next verse. Just want to carry on. Oh dear, hang on. Let's just get into what we were writing before and then we can go to a new line. Brilliant. So the final line is going to be about the wind. So I'm going to write the fierce wind. Now, I'm not sure about you for verbs to describe the wind, but I really quite like that verb howled because it's kind of showing you that it's a bit wild and out of control. So the fierce wind howled over the choppy sea, comma. And then our final verse starts with, lines of our verse starts with the storm was, and Mr. Moon put ferocious, I'm going to put wild, and I need an exclamation mark there. So let's go and find our highlighters so we can highlight our EMPs. We have fierce wind and choppy sea, and then we're going to have our verb of howled. Okay, so actually, because we've got those word banks already, we've got our EMPs, we've got our powerful verbs. When it comes to building our poem, it's not really too tricky because we're just going to put those two things together. And if you follow my suggestion here about having one line about the sky, one about the sea, and one about the wind, it becomes quite a simple process to then build your poem up. Okay, let's have a look. So this is what I'd like you to do today. So to start with, I'd like you to copy this out in your niece's handwriting and then underline the verbs that we've got in here. So it's that first verse from the poem which I've just modelled with you. So find the verbs in that piece of writing. Then I'd like you to generate powerful verbs to describe your own storm. So you're looking for 3 verbs that you want to use. 1 to describe the sea, 1 to describe the sky, and 1 to describe the wind. And then here, you're going to have a go at taking your EMPs from yesterday putting them with your verbs that you've got to build 3 lines for your poem. Okay, so have a go at doing that at home. We are so looking forward to seeing these poems when you have produced them and sharing them with us on Dojo. Take care, we look forward to seeing your work.